Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
If you've wandered through Maffeo Sutton Park in downtown Nanaimo on a Thursday night, you may have come across the drum circle. We're going to share that circle with you tonight on Go. On today's show, entrepreneurial teens raise money for mom's birthday, when a fish pond is more than a fish pond, and saving the cherry tree. That and more in the next 30 minutes. That is Dave McGrath, also known as VooDoo Dave. He's warming up the circle of drummers. It's drop-in. It's been running here for about 7 or 8 years. It's a pretty casual group. They get together on Thursdays at 7 o'clock here in Maffeo Sutton Park. We're going to talk to Dave and meet some of the drummers on this edition of Go Island. But first, we're starting with a story that should warm your heart just a little bit. Two sisters in Nanaimo, 11-year-old Lotus and 8-year-old Lila, needed to come up with some ideas to get some money to get a birthday present for their mother. Well, they put their creative entrepreneurial spirit to work. This is the result. And it just so happens that Thursday, today, is Allison's birthday. So a happy birthday, and thank you for sharing your entrepreneurial spirit with us to both Lotus and Lila. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. This is VooDoo Dave, and he is the one that is responsible for this fantastic energy that's happening. What is a drum circle, first of all?
Right there, that's a drum circle. It's just a community getting together, all ages, all shapes and sizes, and we just communicate with the drum. Basically, we just leave all our cares behind and play the drum for a couple hours and just connect that way.
Do people have to have any experience? I'm looking at people coming around, they're joining, they're watching, they want to come, they want to participate. Do they know they have to know how to play already?
No, I've kind of left these Thursday night drumming are for anybody, but it helps if you have a drum because I don't normally bring extra drums. But people have just showed up and started, someone had an extra one, they started playing, or sometimes people come in the middle of dance. That's great. We love it when we have dancers. But yeah, there's like a core group. A lot of my students, they come out and we try and keep this thing going every week and build a community, It's a great way to spend the summer.
And does it go all year round? Or?
Oh, no, it's just a summertime thing. It's also a chance because I teach, and so it gives my students a chance just to get out and play. Otherwise they'll all be sitting at home alone in their closets, like trying to, and somebody calls the cops because somebody's, making too much noise. Whereas here, nobody's calling the cops. It's great.
And they're actually enjoying it. It really adds to the atmosphere of the park. You're not just here bringing drummers together. You're creating the energy here.
So people always, everyone that wanders by, they just stop and they're like, wow, and they get their little iPods out and they're, taking pictures. So it's really cool. I like that.
We're going to talk to you a little bit more on this edition of Go Island about how you started drumming in the first place, because I know there's a little bit of a story there. But in the meantime, we're throwing things over to Nancy Wilmot in Port Alberni to look at duck ponds or fish ponds that are more than just fish ponds when they are the center of a garden. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. Standing around listening to this week's drum circle find their rhythm together. The comments from the people who just wandered through the park are quite incredible, and they're very enthusiastic. This one guy says, "This is amazing, this is amazing. I'm going to go buy a drum. When do they come? Is it every week? Is it every week? What do they do in the winter time?" And he'll be here on Thursday next week with his own drum. There's people who are dancing. They stop as they're passing through. Another woman walked around the entire circumference of the drum circle and said everybody has their own sound when you listen to them from behind, but collectively together, it's one sound that's huge, undeniable. It gets to your heart, it gets to your soul. We'll be back with more from VooDoo Dave's drum circle later on this edition of Go. Still to come today on Go Island, sharing the road with the two-wheelers, Kim Rock on Biff Naked, and saving the cherry tree. That and more still to come today on Go Island. watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. This is just a typical Thursday in Maffeo Sutton Park, a drum circle led by VooDoo Dave McGrath. And from what I understand, he was at a party in Mexico about 20 years ago. He picked up a drum and, well, he hasn't really put it down since. He makes drums, he gives lessons, and he feeds the energy into the weekly drum circle here in Maffeo Sutton Park. As I mentioned, you can get more information on what he does and how to participate, VooDooDave.com. We're going to throw things over now to Melissa Hall. With the great weather that we've been having, there are obviously more and more motorcycles on the road, and with those motorcycles, you need to take extra caution when driving. The crowd here at Maffeo Sutton Park gets bigger and bigger. The music gets louder and louder. It's the weekly summer drum circle that takes place every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And Giselle Jacob is a drum facilitator, and that's what happens in the middle of the circle. What is the role of a drum facilitator?
It's to keep the circle, all the rhythms tight, and to make sure that everybody's looking at the facilitator, making sure that they're staying on the rhythm and the beat. And
is that hard to do?
No, it's not. It's not hard. You just watch the leader and facilitator, and they usually give you cues, verbal or just hand signals, and let you know when to stop, when to start, when to slow down, all those kinds of things.
Well, we've had a lot of questions about what happens in the wintertime and where can people participate in a drum circle, and you actually conduct drum circles at Nanaimo Association for Community Living. Tell me about that and how the drum helps people through some mental or physical challenges that they might have.
Well, I teach drumming at NACL in a program there, and it helps them for kinesthetic, auditory, hand-eye coordination. It helps them to understand how African rhythms are start and begin and are formulated, and they help to encompass each following by social interaction with each other.
One of the things I've heard being said about drumming of this kind, or maybe any kind of drumming, is that it really is primal, because it's so connected almost to the beat or the rhythm of your heart, almost quite literally.
Yes, you're right. It is primal, and it's very, the base of it's like a heartbeat, you know. So everybody can learn to play the drum, and you just have to try. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, I don't have any rhythm." Well, rhythm is like everything. You walking is rhythm. When you clap your hands is rhythm. Everything what you do is rhythm.
And it sounds like everybody has a little bit of their own rhythm going on, and the job of the facilitator is to bring it all together. But even if it isn't all perfectly together, it still is a unified sound in collaboration.
That's correct.
Wow.
So I also do drum facilitation in the evenings on Friday in the wintertime from September to the spring, and it's open to the community.
How do people reach you?
They can reach me by email. I'm called grassrootrhythms@shaw.ca.
Giselle, thank you. We're going to throw things over now to a rhythm of an entirely different kind. It's Kim Rock! You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4, and the spectators have a huge role to play in creating the energy of the weekly drum circle here at Maffeo Sutton Park. And I couldn't help the energy and enthusiasm from Hans Bongards. He's experiencing the drum circle for the first time. You can't stop moving.
I love it. It just grabs you. It hits you.
And you were saying, how do I get a drum? I want to join up.
I'm going to go immediately tomorrow and look for a drum.
And you've never experienced anything like this before?
Well, I did a small drum circle a few years ago, 3 years ago in this San Diego, and I loved it, and I don't know, it just grabs you right to the soul. I can't wait. I can't stop moving. Somebody let me use their drum for a couple of minutes there. I loved it, and I'm going to be here Thursday.
And I think if there's any more people in the middle of the circle dancing, you're going to be in there as well?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Hans. Thank you very much. It's great to see people find a passion while strolling through the park on a late summer evening. We're going to throw things over now to Annette Lucas. It's our good news story. The city of Nanaimo went to huge efforts to save a cherry tree. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. Gabriola Island is having a drum day this Saturday, August the 24th, all day. It's at Gabriola Commons.
Drum yoga
There's
first.
drum yoga in the morning. You can get all the details at VooDooDave.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.